Hi everyone, I'm Laura. I'm Talia's student, and I'm going to tell you a little bit or a lot about my history with the piano because it's quite a long history. I started playing the piano when I was very young. I played it from, I think, because I don't really remember, from when I was 5 years old till I was 7 years old. I had a professor that was very rude, to be quite frank. Her teaching methods were not the best. They were very traditional, but that's not what I meant. What I mean by not the best. Not the best in the sense that she could be quite rude. She could be quite aggressive. She would humiliate the students a lot. It just wasn't a pleasant experience. So I learned how to play the piano from a young age, but I was pulled from the piano from a young age because neither myself nor my parents were in agreement with her teaching style. And I just wasn't having fun anymore. And my mom didn't want me to start hating the piano, so she thought it would be best to remove me from the classes than to have me stay there until I hated it. And so I stopped playing the piano for a very long time. I retook it when I think I was about 14, maybe younger. Um, I think younger. Uh, but I retook it around that age with a professor that my mom found. But she was also like a very old school professor. She was very nice, very kind, but it was very much the typical, you have the music sheet, you read it, you play it, you have to practice an hour or two of piano every single day. Um, so I didn't enjoy it. It felt very much like a chore that I had to do, not something that I wanted to do. So I left it. I think I lasted 3 months with that professor. And I actually started playing the drums instead. So I played the drums for a year and I really liked it. I really liked the drums, but then we had to move and I had to get rid of my drum set. So I stopped playing the drums, evidently. And I started playing the piano again because my mom found another professor, and she had bought a piano by that point. So we had one at home, and my mom had found another professor. And I would hear her classes, and I'd be like, "Oh, I kind of do miss playing the piano, actually." So I started taking classes with him, um, and it was the same thing. He was very nice. I really liked it. But it was, we had the music sheet, we read it. I had to be retaught how to read music sheets because I completely forgot by that point. We read it, we played in the piano, he would play for me, and then I would copy him. And that's how I would learn the songs. And then he moved away to the States, to United States. So we were left without a professor for, I think, a year before my mom found someone else. So I stopped playing again for a year, completely forgot everything that he had taught me. And then we started with this new professor. And she was very nice and she was younger. So she understood that it was very unrealistic that I would play because I wasn't learning piano to play professionally. I was learning for fun. So she would recognize that it was very unrealistic that I would be each day for an hour practicing the piano. So she taught me again, like we had the music sheet, she would play, I would copy her, I would learn the songs, and that's how we did it. But it was a lot more for fun. And then she moved away too. She went to study her master's at Germany. And so we stopped having a professor again, and I stopped playing the piano again, and I completely forgot everything I was taught again. And then my mom found Talia, and my mom loved Talia's classes right away. And she kept insisting and insisting and insisting that I take classes. But by that point, I wasn't very interested. I was finishing high school. I was starting my undergrad. I just didn't feel the need, the want, or the time to play the piano. So it's like, no, like maybe later, maybe at another time, maybe blah, blah, blah. I finished my undergrad. So by that time, I hadn't played the piano in 7 years. I hadn't touched the piano in 7 years. And then finally, when I started working, I was like, okay, I want to play the piano again. So I started taking classes with Talia. And my mom had told me that Talia had a very different teaching style and that I would really like it. And I didn't believe her until I started taking classes with Talia, and I realized that my mom was completely right. It's very, very different because it was not that you have to practice for an hour piano every single day. It was very much the opposite. It was whenever you feel like it, like it's ideal that you play a little bit every day, but it's better that you play when you want to, when you feel the desire to. So there was no homework or anything like that. And we also don't work with music sheets. What we do is I pick a song that I want to learn and we listen to it and then we recreate it on the piano. So we work in sections where we listen to the first 10 seconds of the song. Well, we listen to the whole song and we identify the parts, but then we go bit by bit. So we listen to like the first 10 seconds, and then of those 10 seconds, we find the keys that we heard on the piano and how they go together and which ones go first. And then so on and so on until we have the whole first section done. Then once we have the whole first section done, we do the same for the second section. Then we do the same for the third section. Then we put it all together. So we have the whole piece, but it's very rudimentary. So once we have the whole piece, then we work on like, do we put a pedal or not? Do we take a pause here or not? Do we go softer here? Or do we go stronger? Do we put more emotion here? What is the emotion that we're meant to feel? And so it starts to take this whole new musicality to it. And that's how we finish the songs. And I've learned 2 songs with Talia. The first song is called Two Birds on a Wire by Regina Spektor. It's very much a pop song. And I realized that that's not the style that I like to play on the piano. So it's no longer my favorite song to play, but I still remember it, and I'll tell you why that's amazing in a second. And then I learned the second song, which is the one that you've heard or you're going to hear. I'm not sure which video goes first, which is called The Street of Three Brothers. It's in French. It's called La Rue des Trois Frères. And that's my style of music that I love to learn and play on the piano. And what's amazing about it is that after, I think, 6 months or less, I think a lot less, actually. I think a very lot less time of being with, I think 4 months of taking classes with Talia, I moved away to my master's. I'm currently studying a master's in public policy and global affairs in Canada. So I stopped playing the piano because I didn't have a piano in my department. I couldn't afford one, so I couldn't buy one. And I didn't have the time to take classes. So it wasn't even worth it. Like, oh, like a keyboard that's a lot cheaper and you take the class. I didn't have time for classes because it's a professional program. It's high pace, it's intense. I was working at the same time. I just did not have time to take piano classes. And so I wasn't playing the piano. I was playing it like maybe once every 3 months because the building where I take classes has a piano, but it's a very old piano that's completely forgotten, completely out of tune. It sounds horrendous. Some keys don't even make a sound anymore. So I would sometimes play there, but it sounded so awful that it didn't invite you to play the piano. So for a year, had not played the piano, really had not had any classes. And I still remember the songs I've learned with Talia. And I would dare say that especially The Street of Three Brothers has gotten better, my interpretation of it. And I think for me, the way I see it, the way why it works, it's because I'm not reading the music and then playing it. I'm creating it myself. I'm listening to it, attuning my ears to the music, learning to identify the notes on the piano and then putting them together myself. So it's a song that exists out there and it belongs to someone else, but the version that I play on the piano belongs to me because I created it. I created it from the start. I constructed it. I didn't just read it and play it, but I made it. So it's a lot easier for me to remember it because it's a part of me now. It's not just something that I read on a piece of paper that we all forget. Like if you think of the textbooks that you read in middle school, can you truly actually remember? You can remember bits and pieces, but like or none of it at all. But something that you made from scratch, you will always remember. And it makes it a lot more special and a lot more meaningful to you as well. And this song has been so special to me. Whenever I'm sad, I play it. Whenever I'm happy, I play it. Whenever I see a piano, I want to play it because it's mine and it sounds so beautiful and so gorgeous. And I'm so proud that I was able to recreate it, not learn it, but recreate it on the piano. And then also that it wasn't a chore that I had to do. I didn't have to sit every single day for an hour to play the piano. It was something that I did because I wanted to do it, because it was fun to do it, not because I had to. And that made it so much more special to me. And right now, the video of me playing that either you already saw or are going to see is even a lot more important to me because I'm currently in Mexico because I had to get foot surgery. I had a complete rupture in 2 ligaments in my right foot, which is the foot that I use for the pedal. And this video of me playing is me playing again for the first time after the surgery, once my doctor cleared me to move my foot like that. So it's very special to me to see that not only I remembered the song, but I could play it well despite my foot injury, because the song is just that special to me. So it's been a very interesting journey. And right now that I'm in Mexico and that I can finally play the piano again, I've loved Talia's teaching style so much that right now I'm taking classes with her again to learn my 3rd song with her during the time that I'll be here for the summer, because I still have a year left of my master's. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna stop playing the piano again for a year. But I love it so much because it makes the music, it makes you gain a deeper appreciation and understanding of the music, of the instrument, and of yourself as a musician. Like I'm not a professional musician. This is not something that I think I will do to eat. This is just something that I do for fun. I'm studying public policies. I work at the central bank. My world outside of my personal emotions doesn't revolve around the music world. Like, so it's not like I'm training for this. It's not like it's been a very tumultuous journey, I would say, my journey with the piano. So I am really impressed with Talia's teaching styles. I have to swallow my words and admit that my mom was completely right, that I would absolutely love taking classes with Talia. And it leaves you with a very different sensation because it leaves you very proud of your work. Because when people ask me like, oh, how did you learn? It's like, I recreated it. I didn't read it. I didn't memorize it. I recreated this song. So it makes me also very proud to say like, I can do this. So yeah, that's been my journey with the piano. Thank you so much for listening to me.